How do you lose that fucking football game? How? Texas Tech loses 35-34 at TCU in an absolutely abysmal collapse for the Red Raiders. In today's video, we'll discuss it all, including just the head-scratching decision by Zach Kittley to keep the ball in a true freshman quarterback's hand on 3rd and 7 instead of giving it to arguably the best Texas Tech running back of all time. We'll also discuss how this defense is, well, let's just face it. Let's go to Toy Story. Live report of what this defense is. It's trash. That and much more in today's recap video. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. Just give me your one word to describe that Texas Tech collapse at TCU. I mean, so many questions need to be answered. This almost feels like a therapeutic type video for me. Just kind of getting my thoughts out to you guys. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down on the pinned comment below your one word, or if you want to write a paragraph, an essay, whatever the hell you want to write down in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling after this just putrid performance by Texas Tech in terms of this collapse. Just absolutely disgusting. All right, let's get into the damn stats because why not? The biggest thing in this one that you probably need to know is that Behren Morton got hurt once again. It was to his left shoulder. Joey McGuire, after the game, said he wasn't sure exactly what it was on his left shoulder. There isn't a ton of concern in terms of long-term. His words, not mine, but it did sound like he was speculating it was a collarbone injury. That, according to Banker, a reporter there for KMAC out in Lubbock. So Will Hammond came in. He was 9 for 9 to start out. If you do some quick math there, he was 1 of 6 on the next 6 throws. He did have one beautiful touchdown to Koy Aiken. And then Taz Brooks once again got 30 carries, should have been 31 at least, for 121 yards and a touchdown. The leading receiver in this one was Caleb Payday Douglas with 13 targets and 9 catches for 140 yards. Now, when you go and look just specifically at, well, the away stuff for Texas Tech and the defensive side, and well, it's not great, Bob. It's not great. Not great at all, to be honest. I mean, you did create technically 4 turnovers if you want to include the turnovers on downs after a 4th down stop. But overall, your defense just disappeared in the 4th quarter, and that's probably the nicest way to put it, in all honesty. You had a couple of guys stand out. I thought Harvey Dyson III was really good in this game and really showed some of that promise that we were, discussing in the preseason. And he had a forced fumble off of a sack. He also had a pass breakup that resulted in a Chapman Lewis interception. You were solid on defense for really the 2nd and 3rd quarter. Weren't good in the 1st quarter, and you weren't good in the 4th. In the 4th quarter, you were absolutely putrid. All right, let's lay the groundwork for this one. Texas Tech at one point in this game, as I get back on screen here, because it's ranting time. Texas Tech at one point in this game went on a 28-0 run, and they lost. They had a 17-point lead and lost. There's multiple plays in this game that I think will be discussed heavily, okay? And we'll go ahead and start with them. Obviously, the big one is going to be that decision by Zach Kittley to run the football on 3rd and 7 on a drive where you're trying to get into field goal range to set up a game-winning potential kick. It's going to be a long one because you're probably not getting that on the run itself in terms of the 7 you need, but you're setting yourself up to be in the middle and have a chance at, probably a 45 to 52-yard field goal, okay? Which, by the way, you did miss a field goal of 50 yards prior in this game. Instead of handing it to arguably the best running back in Texas Tech program history, they hand it to a true freshman quarterback in his first game action against a Power 4 opponent. And what does he do? Gets absolutely obliterated after a spin move by a 320-pound defensive tackle. Clearly a fumble. What's not clear is why the fuck was that the play call? Why don't you hand the football to Taj Brooks? You noticed how I said earlier he should have had at least 31 carries? That should have been the 31st carry. It is inexcusable by Zach Kittley, who, by the way, early on in this game was cooking with Will Hammond. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, and we'll focus on this one play, and rightfully so. But he was cooking early on, was Zach Kittley. But this one play will be the play that is remembered by every Texas Tech fan, and rightfully so. Why on God's green earth are you not giving the ball to Taj Brooks on a 3rd and 7 when you have already committed to the run? Why give the football to a true freshman quarterback? It makes zero sense, 0 iotas of a sense. It is absolutely repulsive play calling. 0 sense was made there. You had a chance to go down and have an opportunity at a game-winning kick, and instead what you did was hand it to a freshman quarterback who is, granted, played pretty well. I was putting out Will Hammond Heisman tweets at one point. I was joking, obviously, but he was playing pretty well. But you have Taj mother effing Brooks, and you decide to keep the ball in the hands of a true freshman quarterback on a run play? Putrid. Shame on you for that. Next, the defense. I think it's actually disrespectful to the word defense to call the Texas Tech defense just that in the 4th quarter. They were awful. Specifically, the one play that went for 83 yards. You were set up was TCU, and the Texas Tech defense had a nice opportunity to have TCU back on their side of the field within their own 15-yard line. The second play of that drive, Josh Hoover throws an 83-yard touchdown pass where Macho Stevenson got put in the absolute fucking blender. Macho Stevenson was not good in this game. So credit to Josh Hoover, because if I see Macho Stevenson on the field, I'm going to target him. And that's exactly what he did. And that ended up being the game-winning play for TCU. Now, that's not where things really irk me in terms of the defensive side. You know, the defense really was just terrible in the 4th quarter all in general. Let's switch back to the offense here. And really, it's a mindset, I think, at this point that really bothers me more than anything. And before I get into it, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech football and men's basketball all year long. And head down to the, pin comment below and give me your one word or your one sentence, one paragraph, one J.K. Rowling's book on what this Texas Tech collapse means. I'll ask you a question at the very end of this video, and I don't think it's unfair, but y'all tell me if it is. Where I want to shift is this. How did Joey McGuire go from being statistically the most aggressive head coach, I should say, in college football, to my grandmother worrying about if the oven is off before she gets gas conservative? There was a play in this game where Texas Tech was on the TCU 6-yard line. It was 4th and 2. You had an opportunity to go up 3 possessions. What do instead? You kick a field goal to go up what? Quick math. 2 possessions when you were already up. Wait for it. 2 possessions. Why? You have Taj Brooks. Use him. It's 4th and 2, okay? Let's play the hypothetical game, and let's say you don't get it, okay? I think that there's a realm of possibilities where that happens. You don't get it. TCU is backed up all the way within their own 5-yard line, people. Yes, I just got done saying that they gave up an 83-yard touchdown pass to the Texas Tech defense, but at the same time, you feel much better about your defense trying to make something happen there, and with the opportunity to go up 3 possessions. Why didn't you go for it? Why? 4th and 2, you have arguably the second best running back in all of college football, and you decide not to go for it, to go up 3 possessions on the road. The play that Joey McGuire had there in terms of his mind, I could be okay with it at home. Home games are a little different. On the road, you're supposed to take chances like that and put the home team in between the wall and you, and there's no opportunity for them to go anywhere. Instead, you let them stay in the game, and what happens? You lose. Am I saying that decision right there was the reason you lost the game? No, I think I've already laid out a few on why you lost this game. But now let's transition to the future here. And this is the question that I want to ask you guys. Does Texas Tech make a bowl game? I'm being so serious right now. Does Texas Tech make a bowl game? The defense is trash. Your starting quarterback may be out for a while. I like Will Hammond just like the rest of you guys, but he is a true freshman. Your schedule, this is the difficult part of it. You have to go face a top 10 team in the Iowa State Cyclones in Ames. You come back home and you place off against Colorado, who is known to pass the football. And I hate to break it to you, Tech fans, you may already know the secondary ain't good for the Red Raiders. Okay, then you go face off against Oklahoma State on the road, right? Maybe that's the most winnable game on your schedule. It's either that or West Virginia. And yes, West Virginia may pack their bags knowing that Neil Brown may be gone by then, but they also have a quarterback that has presented a load of issues for you in terms of his archetype, in terms of running the football. I don't know where the for sure win is on this schedule. I don't know if there is one for Texas Tech. And that is absolutely mortifying considering you started this season 5-1. You came out of a bye week against Baylor. You shit the bed. You had an opportunity to just put TCU in their place in terms of you were the better team today for a majority of the game. And what did you do? You let them back in the game, and they took full advantage of it. Credit to the Horned Frogs for that. But don't get it twisted. You have to figure some shit out quick if you're Texas Tech. And there are some hard-hitting questions that need to be asked on media side of things out in Lubbock, because there's been far too many softballs. And according to Don Williams, and I'll call him out for this because this is just crazy in my opinion. They can go back and watch this. I don't care. Twitter account that doesn't actually travel for the games. Perhaps you should get off your couch. That's crazy to say. That's crazy to say. There are plenty of people in Red Raider Nation that know ball. Just because you have a media pass does not mean you know ball more than anybody else, period. Right? And there needs to be some hard-hitting questions asked to Joey McGuire, Zach Kitley, and Tim DeRuiter, because this season is going down the shitter quick, and they better figure some shit out fast. All right. Rant over. That's going to do it for today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and once again, let me know your one word, one sentence, one paragraph, one book to describe that Texas Tech loss at TCU. Mine is, it's in the thumbnail. Not in the thumbnail. I guess it is in the thumbnail technically, but also in the title. Collapse. Just an embarrassing collapse by the Red Raiders. But let me know yours down below. I'm RC Maxfield. We'll catch you next time here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.